No one else is going to do this for me, nor is it of interest to anyone else, you, the viewer, to do any of this for me. Such is the difficulty and the struggle of evolution. That real individual evolution of the true self is something that we must do for ourselves. And then, in strange ways, call it, the mysterious ways of our Father Endlessness, of God in heaven, help does come to us when there is real need and real giving of oneself. Based on this need for call it acceptance of real help from God only knows where. For the sake of our true individual self-evolution. We're talking about the inner self. We're not talking about false egoism of the worldly self, of the world of cause, crusade, agenda, the long lines of cause and effect of the world outside and around us. The kingdom of heaven is within us. And it's our individual work, depending on us, and the help that we do receive from our neighbor, love your neighbor as yourself, and from God. That help does come to us for these efforts at self-evolution. And I wish to read a little more material about evolution. In search of the miraculous, there is some material here, what Gurdjieff calls the idea that it is necessary for us to speak an exact language, of Gurdjieff, language of the fourth way, which we can agree on, and in this way help each other, help one another from a distance, as it were, and or in our personal relations with each other, with one another. That an exact language is needed to understand these ideas of true self, individual, real I evolution. And the idea of exact speech, exact language, there's some material on it in chapter 31 of Beelzebub's Tales. Reading a little bit of that just for a moment here. Maybe, my boy, Beelzebub, speaking to his grandson Hassim, you do not yet know about the phenomenal absurdity found only on this ill-fated planet Earth, which consists in this for verbal intercourse, again thanks to the abnormal external conditions of their ordinary existence. There are as many different languages or dialects having nothing in common with each other as there are distinct independent groups into which they have gradually become divided. Whereas on all other planets of our great universe, where three-brained beings breed, there is everywhere one common form of language, exact speech, exact language, what is called, quote-unquote, sound manifesting mutual intercourse. Sound manifesting mutual intercourse. And follow me. sit. You don't have to sit.
Oh, yeah. It's okay.
For exact understanding, exact language is necessary, and the study of systems of ancient knowledge, it begins with the study of a language which will make it possible to establish at once exactly what is being said, from what point of view, and in what connection. This new language contains hardly any new terms or new nomenclature, but it bases the construction of speech upon a new principle, namely the principle of relativity. That is to say, it introduces relativity into all concepts, and thus makes possible an accurate determination of the angle of thought. For what precisely ordinary language lacks are expressions of relativity. When a man has mastered this language, then with its help, there can be transmitted and communicated to him a great deal of knowledge and information, which cannot be transmitted in ordinary language, even by using all possible scientific and philosophical terms. The fundamental property of this new language is that all ideas in it are constructed around one idea. That is, they are taken in their mutual relationship from the point of view of one idea. This idea is the idea of evolution. Of course, not evolution in the sense of mechanical evolution, because such an evolution does not exist, but in the sense of a conscious and volitional evolution, which alone is possible. Everything in the world, from solar systems to man, and from man to atom, either rises or descends, either evolves or degenerates, either develops or decays. But nothing evolves mechanically. Nothing evolves willy-nilly, involuntarily, mechanically, all by itself. Only degeneration and destruction proceed mechanically. That which cannot evolve consciously degenerates. Interesting idea. That which cannot evolve consciously, volitionally, degenerates. It's like he's saying here, one way or the other. Help from outside is possible only insofar as it is valued and accepted. Help from outside is possible only insofar as it is valued and accepted, even if it is only by feeling in the beginning. And then there's what is called heart-mind intuition. The language in which understanding is possible is constructed upon the indication of the relation of the object under examination to the evolution possible for it, upon the indication of its place in the evolutionary ladder. For this purpose, many of our usual ideas are divided according to the steps of this evolution.